evening, and all the esteemed guests who've come to commemorate the life of national artist for cinema, Ishmael Bernal. I'm here to introduce somebody who's been the driving force behind the book. She's the workhorse, the project director and producer. She's the independent writer and art critic, and the one who's really put her heart and soul behind this for the past several weeks and years. Let me introduce Katrina Stuart Santiago.
Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Ako po ay anak ni Angela Stuart Santiago, yung co-author ni Ishmael Bernal at ni Jorge Arago para sa Pro Bernal Antibio. I think it's important to start talking about first how we came upon this project. Jorge Arago and Ishmael Bernal were classmates in college, and throughout the time that Bernal was doing films, struggled to do films, and then finally made it into filmmaking and cultural work, Jorge Arago was his constant collaborator. When much later post EDSA, Tito Ishma had a difficult time making films, and he and Tito Jorge started talking about putting together a tell-all biography. And Tito Ishma, from the beginning, and he says it in the pages of his book, he talks about how he doesn't want to come out as a hero, he doesn't want to come out as a saint, he didn't want it to be a hagiography, where he would be praised to high heavens, etc., etc. And so he really wanted a biography that would literally tell all about his life and his times. He wanted to be able to talk about his depression, his sadness. He wanted to talk about drugs. He wanted to be able to talk about homosexuality like no one has ever done before. 25 years since he started writing that journal. His handwriting is actually on the cover of the book. That's a page from his journal, and we also have a couple of pages of the journal at the back of the book. He started writing that journal in '92 on a trip to Paris at the encouragement of Jorge Arago. And 25 years since, we've finally been able to come out with this version of the book, which is as unexpurgated and as uncensored as it can possibly be without getting sued for libel. The materials were left to us upon Tito Jorge's death in 2011, sorry. And since then, my mom has culled all the materials that were usable. She did a lot of interviews. We did a lot of additional research on the side. What it became is really Bernal speaking for the first time about the kind of life that he lived, both as a cultural worker, as a filmmaker, as an activist, and primarily as the icon that we all know him now to be. It's important to point out that when he was doing this, he was not yet National Artist for Film. And one of the things that was very difficult for Tito Jorge putting the book together while he was alive was the fact of that label, National Artist for Film, and the idea that there might be words that Tito Ishma uses, there might be things that he says that are not national artist worthy. But ultimately, I think that the value of the book is precisely that it is Ishmael Bernal without that label. It is Ishmael Bernal speaking for the first time, honestly and candidly about the people he worked with. And I know that can be scary for the people that he worked with, but actually when you read it, you also realize the kind of intellectual evolution that he went through and the kind of emotional creature that he was. And while there might be parts that seem to be too mataray for comfort, he does also come off as someone who was very emotionally attached to the industries that he worked in and within. And he loved doing film. He loved the Philippines. And I think that if we take that away from this project, then it will be reason to start talking about his work again, which is what he deserves. I hope you enjoy the book and I hope you enjoy the film.